The 7th year with Nathaniel Frost. I secretly bought a wedding dress. And mustered up the courage to propose to him. But unfortunately, I was a few minutes late to the party that day. I happened to overhear him chatting with a friend. You know Emily Carter. I'm already bored with her. Nathaniel lit a cigarette and smiled lazily. 7 years, wouldn't you get tired of it? Those people laughed along. True, 7 years, even a goddess would find it tasteless. But Emily is really beautiful. Her figure is perfect. And at Nathaniel's last birthday, which man there didn't have his eyes fixed on the dress she wore? Honestly, Nathaniel, you used to be so crazy about her. Are you really willing to let go now? Nathaniel's voice was indifferent. When have I ever lied? Then if I were to pursue Emily, you wouldn't mind, right? Go ahead. Nathaniel lazily blew a smoke ring. As long as it doesn't bother you guys. Ambitious, aren't you ashamed? You're taking over someone Nathaniel got tired of. There was another burst of laughter. That night I didn't go into the private room. I made up an excuse about a headache. And went home early. Nathaniel didn't ask a single question and just hung up. The decision to break up was probably firmly made. That night. Within a couple of days. Rumors started spreading in the circle. Nathaniel was chasing a sophomore girl. From the Performing Arts College. Young, delicate and innocent. His way of pursuing someone was always spectacular. Just like when he chased me back then. As if he wanted to announce it to the world. Throwing houses, cars and jewelry around at will. That little girl had never seen such a scene. And fell for him in no time. At a friend's gathering, Nathaniel brought her along. As soon as they entered, everyone went silent. A few girls who were on good terms with me looked at me with some concern. I smiled. Why is everyone so quiet? What are you looking at me for? Nathaniel took the girl in his arms and sat down. Then looked at me seriously. Emily, today is a good opportunity. So I'll be straightforward. Sophie Blake is young and innocent. I truly like her and don't want to wrong her. Nathaniel touched the girl's hair. I have to give her a status. I nodded lightly. I understand. From now on we'll still be friends. If you have any difficulties you can come to me. As long as you're in the capital. I'll still take care of your matters as before. Better not. I smiled lightly and stood up. Since we're separated. Let's make it clear. To avoid any misunderstandings on her part. Nathaniel raised his eyebrows in slight surprise. And after a moment said. That's true. You all continue your gathering. I'll head back first. Want me to have the driver take you? No need, I'll just take a cab. As I stepped out of the room and casually closed the door, I heard someone ask. How long do you think Emily can hold out this time? 2 days. This time she really seemed a bit angry. So I'll bet a week. Nathaniel glanced at the door that wasn't fully closed. And smiled coldly. In less than 3 days she'll come back crying again. It's been like this for so many years. I'm really tired of watching it. True, how could Emily leave you? Everyone knows she loves you madly. I laughed bitterly at myself. Clutching my handbag as I hurried toward the elevator. Back at the apartment. I went to the corner of the walk-in closet. And took down that wedding dress. I had waited half a year to get it. But unfortunately, I would never have the chance to wear it. The wedding dress was custom made. And couldn't be returned. So I simply found a pair of scissors and cut it up. After all, leaving it here would only be an eyesore for Nathaniel. When I finally left, I took off my ring and placed it on the coffee table. I didn't take much with me aside from personal items. I didn't want anything else. After some thought, I left Nathaniel a note, saying he could do whatever he wanted. With the house and everything in it. No need to ask me. I booked a flight at dawn to Port City. My best girlfriend got married there last year. So I decided to visit her to relax. My girlfriend invited me for shopping and afternoon tea. There was a small gathering in the evening. With former classmates and old friends. After a few rounds of drinks, someone else pushed the door open. Several female classmates immediately lit up. Ethan Stone. You're quite a rare guest. Yeah, big shot, what brings you here tonight? Just happened to be next door for some business. Heard about the old friends gathering. So I came over to join the fun. Ethan said this. His gaze fixed somewhere for a moment. Before slowly shifting away. My girlfriend quietly squeezed my hand. Emily, Ethan came for you, didn't he? I looked at that man with drunken blurry eyes. He was a bit taller than Nathaniel. Wearing a black coat. With a business suit of the same color underneath. His eyebrows and eyes were very handsome. His figure well shaped and his legs incredibly long. I squinted for a while before withdrawing my gaze. And shaking my head. No way, we haven't been in contact all these years. My best friend ignored me. And directly called out to Ethan. Big shot. Could you do me a favor and take Emily home later? We've all been drinking. And I don't feel comfortable calling a taxi for her. I was stunned and looked up at Ethan. Ethan's gaze also passed over the crowd. And landed on my face. After about 2 seconds I saw him nod okay. Thanks a lot. My best friend smiled and sat down. Leaning close to my ear and said, Emily. Sleeping with the same man for 7 years. Is just not worth it. Nathaniel can be fickle and flirt around. So why can't you start a new chapter? Besides, someone as perfect as Ethan. Why not take advantage of it? I replied, how do you know he will sleep with me? Baby. The way he looks at you is like he's undressing you. Trust me, I dated 18 boyfriends. I have more experience than you. Ethan drove me back to the hotel. When we arrived downstairs, I unbuckled my seatbelt and thanked him. Thank you for driving me back tonight. Ethan glanced at me sideways and said, you're welcome. I opened the car door about to get out. When suddenly, I remembered what Nathaniel had said that day. On a whim I blurted out, want to go up for a cup of tea. Ethan kissed me in the elevator. I was already drunk. And with his strong domineering kiss, I almost lost my breath. There was surveillance. I was panting. My cheeks flushed, my legs so weak I could barely stand. Holding tightly onto his waist. Ethan glanced at the camera. Then turned and kissed me again from a different angle. Just as I was swiping to open the hotel room door, he suddenly called out to me. Emily, if you regret it now, I can still stop. Regret what? I looked up at him. My fingers circling his tie, pulling him closer. You've kissed my lips until they're swollen. And now you say to stop. Ethan suddenly smiled, reaching out to gently brush my slightly swollen lips with his fingertip. Then even if you regret it later, it'll be too late. Our first time, Ethan didn't even make it to the bedroom. Pressed against the wall until it hurt a bit. I couldn't help but bite him softly while whining. Ethan, you're such a beast. Don't you know how to cherish a lady? His burning palm pressed against my back. Finally gasping, he kissed the side of my neck. Emily, I'm starting to lose control. 5 minutes later, I finally understood what he meant by that sentence. Ethan carried me back to the bedroom. And I buried my face in the pillow, laughing uncontrollably. Ethan, how long has it been since you last had a woman? Ethan looked at me with a serious face. It's been quite a while. I've been busy with work all these years. I looked at him in surprise, gradually stopping my laughter. After a while, tears suddenly welled up. I'm sorry, Ethan, I made you dirty. Emily, what are you talking about? Maybe because I was crying. Ethan got a little flustered. He hurriedly wiped my tears. But my tears just wouldn't stop. I shouldn't have provoked you. But you already have. Ethan leaned down, cupped my face and looked at me steadily. His tone surprisingly serious. Emily. Since you provoked me, you have to see it through to the end. On the 7th day in Hong Kong, my friend Oliver from Beijing suddenly sent me a message. Emily, when are you coming back to Beijing? Everyone misses you a lot. Leo's birthday is in a couple of days. Come back and join us. No, you help me tell him I'll send the gift back. Alright, then take good care of yourself. In the private room, Oliver handed the phone to Nathaniel. Look, why don't you call Emily? She will definitely listen to you. Nathaniel coldly stared at my message on the screen. Suddenly stubbed out his cigarette and stood up. Come back if you want better to die outside. Nathaniel, don't be angry. Emily must be feeling hurt. She even took off the ring this time. It seems she is really heartbroken. It's also because you and that woman made too much trouble. They've already broken up. What more does she want? Nathaniel suddenly got angry. Listen, no one is allowed to contact her anymore. Not even if they die. Alright, no contacting, no contacting. Just don't lose your temper. You just got hospitalized a few days ago. For a stomach bleed. It was only when Emily was around that you didn't have stomach problems. She's only been gone a few days. And you've already worn yourself out like this. Every time a friend said something, Nathaniel's face grew darker. In the end, he grabbed his coat and slammed the door as he left, walking all the way downstairs. The cold wind hit his face. But Nathaniel still felt the fire of anger burning in his chest. That woman Emily really has guts. 7 days, not a single call or message. Is this some kind of game? Nathaniel coldly added Emily's number to the blacklist. You better not come back crying to beg me. Because this time, I definitely won't be soft-hearted like before. When Ethan called, I had just finished writing the last line of my manuscript and was formatting it. I started writing magazine columns during college and had some success. So after graduation I went full-time, relying on this talent. My income was pretty good and the work was flexible. I could take my laptop anywhere. So after the breakup, I didn't have to stay in Beijing feeling heartbroken. Emily, what do you want to eat tonight? Ethan's voice came through clearly. And the busy afternoon seemed instantly soothed. My brain cells felt like they had died by the millions. So tired you decide. How about hot pot? I know. A place where the brain slices are especially good. You'll definitely like it. When I used to eat hot pot with Nathaniel, I always liked to order a portion of brain slices. But later Nathaniel said it looked disgusting. So I rarely touched it. But I vaguely remember that. Ethan usually eats very lightly. I replied. Ethan, you don't have to accommodate me like this. I haven't been picky for a long time. I suddenly really want to eat it too. I remember in college. There was a spicy hot pot place. In the second cafeteria. Where the brain slices were tender and fresh. Hearing him talk about it, I couldn't help but crave it too. That spicy hot pot was really delicious. I ate it throughout my 4 years in college. And never got tired of it. Alright then, let's have hot pot. Ethan took me to a Chongqing hot pot restaurant. That has been in Hong Kong for many years. The place was old and not very big. But business was booming. Ethan, dressed in a suit and tie, looked completely out of place in that environment. I watched him carefully wipe the chair for me. With a tissue. Skillfully. Scald the bowls and chopsticks with hot water. And pour me some juice. A young master like him was surprisingly adept at handling these trivial tasks. I couldn't help but say, Ethan, your ex-girlfriend really trained you well. He sighed and said, unlike me. 7 years of breaking up and getting back together. It was only at the beginning, when Nathaniel was pursuing me, that I enjoyed being cared for and cherished. Later, during the year or so after graduating from college, when I lived with Nathaniel, I was like a nanny. Nathaniel had a weak stomach. So I learned to cook and make soups. I took care of his daily life like a little wife. But now I finally understand. I loved him to the point of losing myself. Even forgetting the principle that one should love oneself before loving others. How could I then expect his love to never fade? Ethan was helping me rinse the vegetables, while glancing up at me. Where did you hear that I have an ex-girlfriend? I was taken aback. Wasn't there always a girl by your side in college? It seemed like you two grew up together. You mean Chloe, right? Ethan chuckled. It's true, we grew up together. But I never dated her, nor did I like her. At most I saw her as a little sister. So you haven't dated anyone all these years? Ethan slowly rolled up his shirt sleeves. I'd been on blind dates. Had brief encounters. But parted ways when it didn't feel right. Oh, so nothing happened after that. I lowered my gaze. Recalling his initial behavior that night. It seemed to make his words feel several times more believable. Emily, I won't do it again next time. Ethan's sudden question left me completely. What do you mean you can't do it? He turned his face away and cleared his throat lightly. Probably because of the steaming heat from the boiling hot pot. His ears were astonishingly red. You'll know soon enough. Ethan scooped some cooked brain for me. Eat it. It wasn't until he saw me back to the hotel, after washing up, when he carried me from the bathroom back to the bed, I suddenly understood what he meant by that earlier sentence. But at that moment I was completely falling apart. Ethan. I couldn't help but glare at him. But my eyes were misty, making me look even more endearing. The way I called his name sounded almost coquettish. Not angry at all. He lowered his head and kissed me gently. Are you comfortable? I shook my head, refusing to answer him. He was not angry, only repeatedly and gently kissing me. I was worn down to the point of breaking. Physiological. Tears welling up at the corners of my eyes. Ethan. Emily, tell me now, does it feel good? Ethan also endured until his eyes were red. The muscles on his arms tense. Sweat dripping down his forehead. Drop by drop. I was finally tormented into quietly crying out. It feels good. It feels good. As my last consciousness slipped away, Ethan whispered very softly in my ear. Emily, if it feels good, then never leave me, okay? On Leo's birthday night, the gift I bought in Port City was delivered to him. Through a friend. Nathaniel was sitting on the sofa smoking. The drink in front of him. Already more than half gone. The gift for Leo was chosen by Ethan and me together. It was a pair of antique cuff links from a high-end, bespoke brand that he really liked. The cuff links were quite exquisite. Leo smiled a little stiffly, glancing at Nathaniel's expression, and not daring to say much. Quickly asking his girlfriend to put them away. Give them here. Nathaniel suddenly spoke. Leo was taken aback but didn't dare to say more. Hurriedly handing over the box. Nathaniel stared at the pair of cufflinks. The brand's logo was very low-key and inconspicuous. But Nathaniel kept looking at it for quite a while. Put them away. He closed the box and pushed it aside. Leo let out a big sigh of relief. And quickly reached to take it. But Nathaniel suddenly grabbed the empty bottle in front of him. And smashed it hard on the coffee table. Glass shattered everywhere. And a long cut appeared on the back of his hand. In an instant. The private room immediately fell into chaos. What's going on now? Why did Nathaniel suddenly lose his temper? Nathaniel stood there motionless. His face dark and full of hostility. Emily has never bought me anything from this brand. Leo hurriedly laughed and said, what's the big deal? Emily probably just picked it randomly. After all, unlike your birthday. When Emily has been thinking about what to give you. For half a year in advance. Yeah, Nathaniel. The place you hold on her heart is less than a tenth of what the rest of us brothers combined have. Who doesn't know how much Emily cares about you? How much she cherishes you? Nathaniel sneered coldly upon hearing this. Care about me? The noisy crowd inexplicably quieted down. Little by little. Nathaniel. How about I call Emily? Or should I deal with the injury first? Leo suddenly mustered up the courage to pick up his phone. And took a photo of Nathaniel's battered hand. Then he sent it directly to Emily. Nathaniel didn't stop him. Perhaps because Leo acted too quickly. And he didn't have time to intervene. About 10 seconds later, Leo's phone suddenly rang. I told you Emily loves you and cares about you so much. Nathaniel, look, it's Emily calling. Leo said excitedly. And everyone also noticed that. Nathaniel's originally fierce face seemed to have softened a bit. Nathaniel, will you answer? Leo handed over the phone. But Nathaniel looked away without even glancing. Leo happily said, I'll answer, hee. He deliberately put the call on speakerphone. When Emily's voice came through, Nathaniel's lips immediately tightened. Leo, what's going on? Are you hurt? Not me, it's Nathaniel's hand. You have no idea how serious the injury is. It's so scary. The bleeding just won't stop. Leo babbled on for a long time. But it was silent on the other end. Emily, are you listening? Maybe you should come back. Nathaniel refuses to go to the hospital. But this continuous bleeding can't go on. Leo. Emily's voice was still as gentle and melodious as ever. Don't tell me about him anymore. Also, happy birthday, Leo. Emily, hey, don't hang up, Emily. But the sound of the phone hanging up had already run out. Clearly. Leo was completely stunned. Holding the phone like it was a hot potato. He wished he could slap himself unconscious. The private room was deathly silent. Nathaniel, however, looked calmly at everyone and smiled. Are you all mute now? No one dared to make a sound. Nathaniel smiled again. Why the hell is everyone so quiet? Nathaniel, calm down. Calm down, there's already too much blood. You know Emily's temper best. Lucy, who had been sitting quietly in the corner, suddenly spoke up. Actually, I've wanted to say this for a long time. What you did before was really hurtful. Emily is a girl with a thin skin. Even if you don't like her anymore, you should part on good terms. Who said I want to part on good terms with her? Nathaniel laughed mockingly and coldly. She's been with me for 7 years. Even if I were raising a dog, I'd have it trained by now. Lucy laughed very softly. Have you ever thought about it? How many 7-year periods does a girl have? What if Emily really never comes back? Impossible. No one noticed the faint tremor in Nathaniel's voice at the end. What in this world is truly impossible? When your heart is broken and cold, how hard is it to warm it up again? Nathaniel, don't do something you'll regret forever. After saying this, Lucy didn't linger any longer. She grabbed her bag and walked out. Eisen, sitting not far away, looked at her with a dark and unclear gaze. His wife of 2 years. Was she feeling sorry for Emily standing up for her? Or was she moved by the scene, blaming Eisen for not treating his wife well? Eisen, aren't you going to see your sister-in-law off? Eisen curled his lips and lit a cigarette. Who's your sister-in-law? Your sister-in-law is filming right now. And won't leave the crew until next month. Eisen, don't be like this. A friend shook his head helplessly. Eisen was non-committal. Lucy and Emily are different. Emily has no burdens from her original family. And can earn her own money. If they really split up, it would just mean a drop in quality of life. But Lucy has a bottomless pit of a family behind her. And an immobile older brother. She doesn't dare to leave. Even if you lent her 10 times the courage, she wouldn't dare. I had just hung up the phone when Ethan hugged me from behind. He rested his chin lightly against my neck, but said nothing. I couldn't help but smile. What's wrong? Emily, will you go back? I don't plan to go back for now, but maybe in the future. After all, I haven't done anything shameful. So why shouldn't I go back? My home is still there. Ethan fell silent again. Only then did I realize the subtext of his. Are you trying to ask me if I would get back together with Nathaniel? Would you? I said absolutely not. Do you believe me? Ethan lowered his eyes, his high nose gently brushing against my cheek. I want to believe you. Ethan, I have a face and self-respect too. So do you still have feelings for him? I thought seriously. It wouldn't be realistic to say. I don't feel anything at all. After all these years. Ethan suddenly bit me lightly. Stop talking, Emily. Listen to me until I finish. But to say this feeling is reluctance or unwillingness would not be accurate either. I gently touched Ethan's face. Parting from him did not cause me much pain or distress. So maybe I had long stopped loving him. Perhaps from the moment he became indifferent to this relationship, I had already prepared myself for the breakup. So I won't. I won't be absent-minded, won't be fickle. Won't make you cry or feel sad. Ethan held me tighter and tighter. And in the end he kissed me again. Emily, be with me. But I did not respond to his kiss. In fact, at last I gently pushed him away. Ethan, I'm sorry. Why say sorry? He looked down at me, his eyes slightly red. I avoided his gaze. It's my own problem. I don't want to talk about relationships anymore. So what are we these days? Ethan grabbed my shoulder, his voice trembling. Emily, what do you take me for? I clenched my fists tightly, took a deep breath. Let's just say we meet each other's needs. If you want, we can keep this kind of relationship. If you find someone you like, you can end at any time. What kind of relationship? A tool to satisfy physical needs. You can think of it that way too. I refused to look up at him, afraid I would burst into tears. Ethan, I'm really sorry. If being like this makes you uncomfortable, I'll leave Hong Kong immediately. I swear I will never bother you again. Emily. Ethan's eyes were bloodshot. He released his grip and slowly took a step back. He seemed to be smiling, but that smile was broken. Emily, you can't treat me like this. He turned around, grabbed his coat and walked out. I instinctively took a step after him, but then stopped. Ethan walked all the way to the door. And the moment he grasped the handrail, he suddenly looked back at me. He even smiled at me reassuringly. Sorry, I just want to be alone for a while. I nodded. Okay, I won't disturb you. Emily, give me some time, wait for my answer. Ethan left and I felt completely drained. Slowly sitting down on the sofa, there was an indescribable sadness in my heart. But I was even more clearly aware that I couldn't invest myself like that anymore. Couldn't love someone wholeheartedly. Or start a new relationship. I was truly scared. Scared that in the end, we would just grow to dislike each other. I feared the look in that person's eyes. From passionate to indifferent. Then to cold and resentful. I didn't want to repeat the same mistakes. It's just that I shouldn't have provoked Ethan. If I had known from the start that he liked me, then that night, I definitely wouldn't have let him see me. Back to the hotel. It was already 3 in the morning when Ethan drove back to the hotel where Emily was staying. He got out of the car but didn't go inside. Instead, he leaned against the car and lit a cigarette. Countless windows were lit. But he couldn't find which one was Emily's. Yet he knew she was there. Knew she was in the same city as him in Hong Kong. He knew that if he walked in 10 minutes, he would see her. It felt somehow joyful and satisfying. Actually, it took him less than 2 days to figure it out. Very easily he comforted himself. Emily had just ended such a relationship. It was normal that she didn't want to date again. She was disappointed and resistant toward men. Love and even marriage, which was perfectly normal. Maybe he was too eager. And shouldn't have pressured her like that. If she felt that maintaining this kind of relationship, for the time being, would make her feel relaxed and comfortable. He actually didn't mind not having an official status. What could be more painful than loving someone you can't have? If there was, it must have been 1.5 years ago. When he found out that Emily and Nathaniel had started living together. At that time he truly decided to let go. That's why he tried going on blind dates. Trying to meet new people. Wanting to move on. But after trying he realized it wouldn't work. So he decisively ended it. Later, no matter how much his family urged him, he never entertained such thoughts again. If Emily hadn't broken up and come to Hong Kong, if that night she hadn't asked him to come up, maybe he would have been alone for the rest of his life. Ethan pinched his cigarette. His gaze gradually becoming calm and resolute. But Emily just happened to come to Hong Kong. Just happened to speak up that night. If the girl you love comes to your side, yet you still lose her, then Ethan, you don't deserve the happiness you want. On the night before leaving Hong Kong, I invited my best friend out for drinks. "How's it going with Ethan?" My best friend looked me up and down. "TSK TSK TSK, seeing your face full of spring colors. And your skin as tender as water. It's clear Ethan has been taking good care of you. I better not hold anyone back. I don't want to fall in love. Nor do I want to get married. Emily, why punish yourself for someone else's mistakes? Besides, it's unfair to Ethan. They say the previous generation plants the trees. And the next generation enjoys the shade. I agree with that. But it doesn't make sense for the current partner to suffer because of the ex's wrongdoings. Nathaniel may be a terrible person, but Ethan is a good man worthy of trust. Why hold a grudge against Ethan because of Nathaniel? It's not that I have a prejudice against him. I just haven't gotten over this hurdle myself. Either you haven't gotten past that hurdle, or you've been emotionally controlled by that dog of a man, Nathaniel, for 7 years, making you feel unworthy of true love and happiness." Hearing this, I was stunned. Is that so? Because of the pain and entanglement caused by the constant uncertainty and breakups? Because of extreme insecurity? I became overly suspicious of everything. So I subconsciously doubted everyone and the whole world, convinced that I would never receive wholehearted love. But why can't I have sincere love? But those who have truly loved will have a new window opened by heaven. "Baby, do you know how wonderful you are?" My best friend hugged me gently, shaking me. "So beautiful, with such a great figure. Able to earn your own living in college. And even support me on the side. Beautiful, capable and kind. If I were a man, I would marry you even if it meant dying. You deserve to be loved, to be cherished by the best man. Not to be wasted on a man like Nathaniel. Trust me, baby, he will regret it for the rest of his life. He will never be able to let go of losing you. Now call Ethan immediately. Also cancel your plane ticket. Don't think I don't know. You're trying to run away again." I looked at my best friend, my eyes gradually growing moist. "But you tell me, Ethan and I, could we also end up like this?" "No. Because I believe a man with enough self-control, and who would rather have nothing than settle after getting the girl he likes, would never foolishly lose her." "Do you think he's that pig, Nathaniel?" I shook my head. "Of course he's not, Nathaniel. So call him now, baby. You can't imagine how happy he'll be." I thought Ethan would be very happy. But I never expected that a man in his late 20s, the CEO of a family business, who had achieved remarkable success, would be as happy as a child. The moment he received my call, my best friend smiled warmly at me. "Emily, are you happy?" I nodded. "It seems. I am very happy." "Look, you're happy and Ethan is even happier. Isn't that enough?" My best friend said this, then suddenly couldn't help but laugh. "Just thinking about how unhappy Nathaniel will be in the future makes me insanely happy." "Not necessarily. He might already have someone new by his side." I smiled faintly. "Let's not mention him anymore from now on." At this moment, I could actually say such words with a calm heart. It felt as if that person truly had nothing to do with me anymore. When Ethan's car arrived downstairs, I just happened to be coming out of the bar. He stood in the night breeze, opening his arms to me. I stopped and looked at him. I have to say, he really was handsome. Every feature perfectly matched my aesthetic. Since a man can like countless women at the same time, cheating without breaking up, seamless transitions aren't even considered bad. Then naturally, if I start dating again after breaking up, there's nothing wrong with that either. I walked towards him and he strode towards me as well. Amid the bustling crowd, Ethan and I kissed as if no one else existed. His heart was pounding so fast. I touched the back of his neck, feeling it burning hot. "Ethan, do you have a fever?" His forehead pressed against mine, breathing lightly. His voice low and husky. "Emily, I don't know what's wrong with me. Whenever I'm with you I feel like this." I chuckled softly, tiptoed and kissed his chin. "Maybe we just need to do this more often." Ethan's ears turned even redder and hotter. He kept my face, looking into my eyes with burning intensity. "Emily, what am I to you now?" I teased him on purpose. "What do you think yourself? A boyfriend?" he asked, but before I could answer, he buried his face in my neck and whispered, "Forget it, don't answer. I don't want to know right now." My hand gently wrapped around his waist, pulling him closer. "Really don't want to know? Boyfriend?" Nathaniel's car stopped at the entrance of an alley. He got out and walked on foot deep into the alley. There lived an old tailor, who had once worked for the Nan Weaving Bureau. Now he was old, and had long since closed his doors to visitors. But Nathaniel had his ways to persuade the old man. The wedding dress that Emily had torn was sent to the master tailor. Half a month ago. Today it is almost fully repaired. As he walked he thought about it. What Leo said a few days ago was right. Girls all long to wear a wedding dress. And marry the person they love. He had been with Emily for 7 years. Yet he never once thought about proposing. He never imagined that Emily might have even considered proposing to him. He had indeed been a jerk these past days. But those women were just fleeting whims. He never took them seriously. Even Sophie, who caused Emily to break up and leave, only kept his interest for 3 days. After getting to know her, he found it dull and uninteresting. His heart always thinking of Emily. After 7 years together, he had indeed felt tired and bored. But some people are like colorless, tasteless air. You only realize how important they are once they're gone. In the days Emily was not around, he couldn't find the energy to do anything. When hanging out with friends, his mind was always full of her. Especially when he drank too much. If Emily was there, she would definitely pretend to be angry and stop him. If she really couldn't stop him, she would make him soup late at night. Let him rest his head on her lap and rub his temples. Her fingers were very soft, accompanied by fragmented complaints and tender murmurs of concern. At that time he found it annoying. Now he misses it immensely. Nathaniel thought that with Emily coming back this time, he decided to propose to her. He actually knew long ago how much Emily wanted to marry him. Giving her marriage would make her feel at ease. And forgive him right. The old master's craftsmanship was really excellent. The wedding dress had been restored to almost exactly the same as before. When Nathaniel paid and was about to leave, his phone suddenly rang. He inexplicably felt a bit nervous. Until he saw Leo's name flashing on the screen. His wildly beating heart then slowly calmed down. Nathaniel, there's something I've been thinking about. And I still have to tell you. Don't get upset when you hear this. It's uncertain. And might just be someone spreading rumors. What exactly is going on? It's about Emily, or maybe forget it. I think this is probably just a rumor someone made up. Leo, since when did you become so whiny? What's going on with Emily? Did she go back to Beijing? Leo suddenly felt an indescribable sadness. How did it come to this? It wouldn't have been so bad if Emily was rumored with anyone else. But why did it have to be Ethan? Nathaniel has had the toughest time dealing with him over the years. Especially 2 years ago because of a major project. Nathaniel's company and Ethan's Chang'a Industrial fought fiercely. In the end Ethan narrowly won the project. And Nathaniel returned empty-handed. That was the first time he tasted defeat. Because of that, their already tense relationship became utterly hostile. I told you, don't get angry. This is all hearsay, no solid proof. It's just that someone saw Emily in Hong Kong. Nathaniel's fingers tightened suddenly around his phone. But his voice remained controlled and calm. What about her being in Hong Kong? It seemed she was with Ethan. Of course it could have just been a meal, nothing more. I understand. Nathaniel. If there's nothing else, I'll hang up now. Nathaniel hung up the phone. He carried that large paper bag. The one holding the wedding dress Emily had bought. Step by step, he walked in the cold early winter wind of Beijing. He kept walking until the alley entrance by the car. Suddenly Nathaniel stopped. A faint, mocking smile slowly appeared on his handsome face. And in the next moment, without hesitation, he threw the exquisite paper bag in his hand into the trash can. 2 months after Emily left, Nathaniel sent her a message. The message was successfully sent but fell into silence. The message: the apartment is going to be sold. What should I do with your clothes? Perhaps he forgot that Emily left him a note, telling him to handle everything here as he wished. Or maybe he was just doing it on purpose, looking for an excuse to send her a message. What he might have been thinking was that this was a step he was offering Emily voluntarily. If she was smart, she would know to follow the step down. His temper seemed bad, but he was actually easy to appease. Yet Emily never replied. Naturally, the apartment was not sold. Emily's clothes and all her belongings remained just as they were before, as if she had never left this place at all. Nathaniel would always come here late at night, after social engagements, then lie on Emily's bed unable to sleep until dawn. And in the 3rd month after Emily left, it was still the same unchanging late night. When the clock hand was about to point to 12, Nathaniel dialed Emily's number. Emily was a very conservative and well-behaved girl. Although her family was ordinary, she never lacked food or clothing. And her parents loved her dearly. But because she had been beautiful since childhood, her elders were very strict with her. It wasn't until the autumn of the year she graduated from university that Emily began living with him. He still remembered that night. She was so nervous that her whole body was trembling. Every inch of her skin was flushed with a burning crimson. She was stunningly beautiful beneath him. Fragile as if she might shatter, evoking deep pity. When it was all over, she cried hard, repeatedly telling him, "Nathaniel, you must not bully me. You must never bully me in the future. You have to treat me well. You have to marry me. Nathaniel, we will be together forever, won't we?" But that innocent and pure Emily, who believed she would always be with the man she loved, had long been lost to him. So long that he could barely remember what expression she wore the last time they said goodbye. Was she nodding with a smile? Or did her eyes redden as tears fell? The phone rang for quite a while. And just when he thought she wouldn't answer, the call was picked up. In that moment, what he really wanted to say was, "Emily, come back." But when he opened his mouth, what came out was, "Emily, come back when you've had enough of causing trouble." His ridiculously foolish words were interrupted by a man's light laugh. That laugh was like a sudden blast of cold hard ice. Nathaniel felt as if his entire body was encased in ice, unable to move at all. "Mr. Frost, you can't lull a girl to sleep overnight, or else someone might swoop in and steal her away." "Ethan." Nathaniel ground his teeth and repeated the name with bloodshot eyes. "It's me." "Emily, you let her answer the phone." Nathaniel's eyes seemed bloodshot. He clenched his phone tightly, his low growl trembling. "Ethan, if you dare take advantage of her, she can't answer." Ethan lowered his head and gently kissed his girl. "She's still asleep, mad at me. I have to wake her up with a kiss first." "Ethan." Nathaniel's voice abruptly stopped. Ethan hung up the phone and casually turned it off. His kiss landed on Emily's slightly swollen lips. "Baby, wake up." Emily's perspective. "Actually, I have thought about what it would be like to meet Nathaniel again. He comes from a wealthy family and has a proud nature. Deep down, we broke up on peaceful terms. So if we ever did run into each other, he might either ignore me, or we could nod and exchange a polite greeting. After all, my parents and family are all in Beijing. Nathaniel and I also share some mutual friends. It's impossible that we would never cross paths at all. But I never imagined that someone as high and mighty and admired as Nathaniel would have moments of such loss and disarray." At that time, feeling especially good after a full night's sleep, I wore a newly bought nude pink cashmere dress and had put on very beautiful makeup. I looked like a plump and sweet peach. I linked arms with Ethan, laughing as we walked out of the revolving door. Then I saw Nathaniel getting out of a car. I paused for a moment, my steps coming to a halt. Ethan's warm fingers gently clasped mine. Nathaniel's shirt was a bit wrinkled, and he wasn't wearing a tie. His face showed undeniable fatigue. His brows deeply furrowed and his eyes were bloodshot. People passed by beside us. And not far away, the musical fountain played cheerful tunes. This scene felt like a slow-motion moment from a movie. But I was not just a bystander. I was one of the unexpected protagonists. Perhaps it was Nathaniel's appearance at this moment that was so surprising. Ethan instinctively shielded me behind him. Yet Nathaniel's expression was very calm. Like in the old days when we were deeply in love. He gently called my name, "Emily." Nathaniel's perspective. I stood still, unmoving. The cheerful music still echoed in my ears. But for some reason, there was an indescribable sadness in my heart. Perhaps it was for Emily, who heard unbearable words that night. Perhaps it was for Emily, who was suddenly told we were breaking up that day. Or perhaps it was for Emily, who foolishly loved for 7 years, but took only 7 days to completely let go. I held back and said, "Emily, I'm here to take you back to Beijing. Once we return, we'll get married. From now on, we'll live well together, okay?" I gently shook my head. "Nathaniel, you should go." "Emily, I never touched Sophie. We broke up in less than 3 days. The wedding dress you bought, I've already had a master craftsman repair it. And our matching rings, I have kept them all carefully. Emily, I even custom made a diamond ring. I'm serious." Nathaniel's eyes grew redder, and his voice trembled slightly. He held out the exquisite diamond ring box, like a precious treasure, presenting it to me. The longing and hope in his eyes were incredibly cautious and delicate. Looking at him like this, I couldn't help but admit that I still felt hurt. But that was all the pain there. I already have a boyfriend. I tightly held Ethan's hand, walked from behind him to stand beside him, shoulder to shoulder. The color drained from Nathaniel's face in an instant. His gaze slowly slid downward. Finally, it stopped on the fingers intertwined between Ethan and me. Our ring fingers wore matching rings, just like he and I used to. "Emily, are you serious?" I took a deep breath, glanced sideways at Ethan, then nodded firmly. "Yes, I'm serious." Nathaniel suddenly let out a low laugh. Do you really think he is serious about you? How much sincerity do you think he actually has? 2 years ago, he fought with me tooth and nail over a project. Now he's pursuing you again, Emily. Do you think there's no selfishness in this? Would he dare to openly say that? He's pursuing you. Without any intention of competing with me. Nathaniel. Emily, you're still so naive. The crows in this world are all just as black. And men in this world are the same. You've been with me for 7 years. So many things have happened between us. Do you really think Ethan wouldn't mind at all? Do you really believe he can truly have a happy ending? With you growing old together? Aren't you afraid that being with him will just end up like another 7 years? With someone like me? The cheerful music stopped at some unknown moment. Nathaniel's voice stopped too. First there was a sudden silence in my ears. Then came the faint sound of something gently breaking. After that sound, there was an overwhelming sense of ease and relief. You see, I don't even have that last bit of sadness anymore. It's just such a pity. Why must life always have some regrets? Before today I never regretted loving Nathaniel. No matter good or bad. It was all my experience after all. But at this moment I couldn't help but feel deep regret. Why had I failed to see through Nathaniel? All these 7 years. Deep down he had never truly looked up to me. Ethan pulled me into his arms. With eyes full of tenderness. My face was a little pale. But I still smiled and shook my head at him. I'm fine, Ethan. Emily, you go to the car first. Leave this to me. I want to be with you. I grasped his hand, unwilling to let go. Ethan looked at me steadily for a moment. Then suddenly lowered his head and kissed me. Emily, in everything I do, I have always been true to my conscience. And never regretted anything. But right now, I truly regret not having taken you away from him. Back then, what right do you have to compete with me? Taking advantage of someone's vulnerability. What kind of man are you, Ethan? Nathaniel, you are not worthy of the love and affection Emily has had for you these past 7 years. Perhaps. It was this sentence that completely enraged Nathaniel. He had never lost his temper like this before. And spoke recklessly. What about you, Ethan? You took a woman who has been with me for 7 years. So what right do you have to stand in front of me and spout nonsense? What do you like about her? Do you purely like Emily, or do you like Emily, Nathaniel's woman? Ethan landed a heavy punch on Nathaniel's face. But Nathaniel was not one to take a loss easily. The two exchanged blows. And soon, both had bruises and cuts on their faces and bodies. Security rushed over. And finally managed to separate them. Yet the two men still glared fiercely at each other. Refusing to back down an inch. Can you stop now? I was both angry and anxious. My voice trembling with tears. Nathaniel's face turned ashen. Emily, you saw it too. Ethan was the one who started it. This matter isn't over between him and me. Yes, he was the one who started it. Mr. Nathaniel Frost, I will make him apologize to you. Whatever you want to do next, we will cooperate fully. Emily, he was clearly the one who spoke rudely first. Ethan immediately got anxious. I gently pressed Ethan's hand and spoke calmly again. Mr. Nathaniel Frost, I apologize to you on Ethan's behalf. Emily, are you really going to protect him like this? Nathaniel took a slow step forward. He was the one who made the first move against me, Emily. So how do you want to resolve this? Emily, I'm hurt. Nathaniel pointed to his face. Do you see the injury here? It really hurts. I glanced over and said calmly. Then I'll call an ambulance for you. We will cover all the expenses. Emily, you know that's not what I want. He looked at me with a sorrowful expression. But deep down my heart was truly calm and still. Ethan suddenly hissed in pain. Emily, do you think I'm going to be disfigured? I quickly turned around. The man in front of me had a cut on the corner of his mouth. His eyes were swollen and there was blood on his jaw. He really looked intimidating. I took a tissue and helped him wipe it off. Nathaniel didn't speak again. The setting sun quietly stretched his shadow long. Perhaps it was at the moment Emily wiped the blood from Ethan's face. Perhaps it was when Emily coaxed Ethan to kiss him. Only then did he finally soberly realize that Emily truly no longer loved him. Lucy's question that day unexpectedly became reality. Emily would never come back to him. He thought he was the one who could easily let go of 7 years of love. He thought he was the one who held the initiative in this relationship. He thought he would always have the upper hand. But at this moment the one who couldn't let go was him, Nathaniel. Emily was the string holding the kite. When the string breaks, the kite loses its direction and can never return home. I watched Nathaniel turn and walk toward the car. Watched his lonely figure disappear. The sun at dusk was suddenly swallowed by the horizon. The sky turned a pale rose blue. Nathaniel's car gradually drove away. And I seemed to see the 7 years of my life from 17 to 24 vanish with that speeding car, leaving no trace. I know from this day on, Nathaniel is just like every other ordinary and common name in this world. I won't deliberately forget. But I will also never actively recall it again. On the night Ethan proposed, he drank a lot and held me, saying many things. But what I remember seems to be only those simplest 2 sentences. Emily, we will never have that kind of 7 years. Emily, we will never break up. At the moment everyone swears an oath. They must truly believe it. But when they later break that oath, they wonder how anyone could have believed in such a thing. Yet I am willing to believe in Ethan. In fact, I am believing in myself. Believing that I am worthy of love. Believing that true sincerity will have that one time it won't be betrayed. On the day Ethan and I got engaged, I received a gift sent from the capital. It was the wedding dress I had once bought. Nathaniel had it restored by a craftsman. Inside the box was also a card. The handwriting on it was Nathaniel's. He said, Emily, I will always wait for you. Ethan was by my side and saw the card too. He smiled confidently and kissed me hard on the cheek. Too bad I won't give him the chance. But that very night, the wedding dress vanished without a trace. And I had long since stopped caring about such trivial matters. In the 3rd year of my marriage to Ethan, we had our daughter Isabella. Shortly after she was born, Nathaniel sent many valuable gifts. I asked Ethan for his opinion. He remained confident but was quite ungracious. Our daughter doesn't need these things. So let's donate them to the welfare center. Just look at him at his age. Not married, no wife. Yet. Constantly watching other people's wives and children. Is he looking for trouble? I couldn't help but smile slightly. Mind your own business. Ethan somehow suddenly became happy. In front of all the servants and nannies in the room, he directly picked me up and spun me around. Emily, what you just said sounded so nice. Can you say it again? What did I say? Hey, put me down first. My head is spinning. But Ethan didn't let go. He sat down holding me in his arms, kissing me again and again. It was that sentence just now. Why bother with other people's business? I just felt amused. Yet also a kind of indescribable tenderness. My best friend once secretly told me. The 2 years after I graduated from college were the 2 years Ethan was in the worst state. But after we got together he never told me about it. Nor did he ever show even a trace of negative emotion. In front of me, I kissed his slightly flushed ear. And whispered softly in his ear. Husband, our daughter is 2 months old now. Let's go to bed early tonight.